Hi, and welcome back to her Gypsy Soul podcast, The Stories That Bind Us. My name is Jacqueline von Bierk. I am your host. I am a singer, songwriter, composer, artist, music producer, lover of life, adventurer, traveler, yogi, vegan. I just love to share stories, to have conversations with real people about anything related to life that we all go through. We are so much more alike than we are different. And that is the whole point of my podcast. I want to bring people together to really hear some other people's perspective, stories, life stories, their obstacles that they went through, and that they survived, because we are so much stronger than we give ourselves credit for. And I mean, if you are still here, you survived 2020. You are a beast. Anyway, I have to say this over and over again. I have very much concern for mental health, and I think we all need to support people's mental health and be there for others. And it all starts with the conversation. It all starts with showing up, with caring a little bit more, and really a community, building a community of like-minded people, of people who are willing and accepting, who are tolerant to have a conversation and to be more tolerant. Tolerance is I think a big one, and we all need to step that up in 2021, because honestly, life is too short to spend on things that don't make us feel good. At the end of the day, we all want to feel good. We all want to be happy. We all want to be loved. We all want people in our lives that get us and that may let us be who we are, right? And so I encourage you, surround yourself with people who are your people. Not everybody's going to be your tribe, and that is totally fine. And so don't focus on that. There was a quote somewhere that said, never waste time on people that don't make time for you, something like that. But you get the gist. Sometimes we get frustrated if a certain person just doesn't care as much as you do, or they don't, get back to you, or they ignore you, they ghost you, whatever the case. I know it hurts, and I know we are all emotional beings. But remember that you cannot force things in life, and so having a real conversation is the way to deal with things. And sometimes just letting things go is also a way to deal with things. And, instead of, if the person doesn't want to communicate with you, write them a letter, just write it out, so that this way you're not trying to, I know people that have tried to reach out to people and they just never hear back from them. And I think the best method is, at some point you have to stop, because obviously the person doesn't want to talk to you. So write them a letter and never send it, so that you get it out of your system. At the end of the day, it is always about you and not them, because you can control other people, but you can control how you react and how it affects you. You could be sitting there and be sad about something or angry about something someone has said a long time ago, and they may not even know. They may have forgotten. They may have just slipped out of their mouth and they didn't really think about it, and you're still sitting here losing your shit over it, and it's just not helpful for your own well-being. With no further ado, I love meeting new people. I just met this guy not too long ago. Actually, we spent a little bit of time on New Year's Eve. We just started talking and started chatting, video chatting, and we had so much fun. It was so fun to have a virtual New Year's Eve party. His name is David. He is a tattoo artist, and he's a free spirit. He's one of my people. He does what he loves to do, and he sustains himself with that. And it's just over and over. I love these examples, because there's a lot of people who think they have to be doing a certain job that they hate, or live in a certain town because they have no options. And meditate on it, visualize it, and really go after what your soul is telling you, because you deserve it. You so deserve it. And I will bring more and more people on here that will prove to you that it's possible. If they can do it, you can do it. So I want you to really engrave that into your DNA, into your system, and realize that really almost anything is possible if you really want it. So, with that said, with no further ado, here's my friend David, tattoo artist, great person, very funny person.
Hi, David. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am great. Really funny story. You're such a talented tattoo artist and cool guy. We just met not too long ago, actually New Year's. And the funny story is that we did this amazing podcast episode on the beach, and it was just so cool. And I messed up with the sound, so I was cutting in and out. And you were so kind to come on again and redo our podcast because, I may use some snippets from that day because it was just so beautiful. But that shit just happens, Anyway. How are you today? And tell us all about you. I love that you're in Hawaii right now. You were born in California, I remember, I think, right?
Yep.
And you had your business there. You're a tattoo artist. You're just a very creative person in general, and you're a gypsy too. You're a gypsy soul. You love nature and have a great attitude towards life. And I would love for my listeners to hear that and for you to share your story and where you started as a tattoo artist and what brought you to Hawaii and how life in Hawaii is during this time. So I'll give it to you.
Well, that could be a very lengthy whole story, but if we sum it up in just a quick moment, I would just say I had 10 years to meditate on being out here on the island, and I finally, through my own circumstantial breakdowns, made it possible to come out at the time that I did. And I guess there really couldn't have been a better time to be out here in the middle of what is looked at as a global craze right now, because my life prior to this was in my own global craze. So it doesn't seem too unfamiliar to me that I'm out here in paradise amongst complete, utter human chaos. So I just took the leap finally, and it feels good. There are a handful of different, I guess, theories and voodoo mojo sticks of people that are locals out here would say, if you're meant to be here on the island will receive you and will keep you. And if you're not, then it will expel you and you'll be gone. And funny thing is, the people I've spoken with have said that there's something with the 3. It's either 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years. And come the 17th, I'll be on 3 months. I don't know if that's meaning anything. I've survived something.
Yeah.
A pretty unstable economic state, but it's beauty, and it's part of my growth. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be here. So a lot of things you and I've touched on that I'm sure we'll get to in this podcast that have shined a light on this magnification of human nature, human experience, has really given me a new approach on my little trek. So I don't know if I've touched much of it, but
Right.
there's some.
Tell us your journey as a tattoo artist, because you did a really interesting, the way you started and how you've run your business is a really interesting approach.
Oh, yeah. So, and I'm glad that this is coming up again, so I get to make it more precise and accurate to what we did the other night. I got into tattooing because it encapsulates everything I love about life, and that is human connection, the stories, travel. With the human stories, there's like spirituality connected in there, and the other part is just being able to create something new for someone, very unique. So that's what got me into tattooing. It wasn't necessarily like a great portion of what other tattooists get involved in tattooing for, which is the tattoo culture or the subculture. I already know that myself, I'm a bit of a rogue and a pirate of sorts, or a nomad. So, you know, as a tattooist, the whole tattooing has been a very primitive and rogue and unauthorized by government trade from the gate. The people of old world tattooing and the pioneers of American tattooing have held that as a bit of a focal point. And a lot of old tattooists will say it's a circus, it's a sideshow, being a tattooist and just having tattoos on you was at one point a bit of a sideshow, a freak show. But I got involved in it for such a more intimate reason. And yes, it has brought me in a complete different world, community anyway. But having a private studio for the most part and doing my work one-on-one basis, unlike having walk-ins for most street shops, people that in the community I was in, I developed a following. So my clientele base would just contact me and it would be that one-on-one. I'd set an appointment up with them and fit them in, and we would just have an entire day. And there's a handful of tattooists out there that function the way I do. They're much greater tattooists than I am. I'm like the littlest guy on the freaking totem pole, if I'm to speak from my heart about it. But, tattooing, being a tattooist, I feel my experience of joy is more for the client, and unless I'm put that level of self up there with them somehow, because I have to push myself daily to each tattoo to be better than I was the day prior. And so, coming out here, I started, in 98. And at that time, a really great, tender-hearted gentleman by the name of Freddie Corbin opened up his studio in Oakland, California, and he's still up and running. I chat with him here and there. I think it was not but a month ago, him and I spoke a little bit. And, how things are going during the COVID, and the lockdowns, the shutdown, and, him being there, having to board up the windows on stuff and
Oh my God.
just kind of keep it that way. And, just run graffiti on the boards just to kind of keep the art there, that whole,
Wow.
persona. But, yeah, tattooing abroad is beautiful. The other thing that ties into the travel of it about tattooing and why I got involved in it, that now I'm seeing more unfold than I knew even then when I first got into it, was being able to take it anywhere and sustain myself.
Love that.
As long as there is a group of people that want to get tattooed, I can have a job, I can have security. Even if I do it for trade, if I'm tattooing just to have a place over my head, I'm happy. I don't have to be making actual cash, in tattooing, as long as it takes care of the essentials that I need for me.
Right.
So that's the journey, and it's still unfolding. And I thank you for giving me the compliments that you have. It's very nice. I also admire you and your craft as well.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I think it's great. I think it's always great when people can do what they love and sustain themselves. You know, we can get easily caught up in, I mean, of course, when I started my band, I was like, I want to be rich and fucking famous, you know? And now looking back, I feel rich, not millions in my bank account yet, but I've traveled, I'm independent. So I don't have anyone to, there's no job that I have to be at, you know, like a 9 to 5 that is sucking the life out of me, or like, you know, a lot of people when they work in this environment, they have like drama. So I feel like really blessed that I don't have that and you don't have that. And that's being your own boss, your own master, you know, of life. That is just a beautiful thing and a blessing, you know, that's an accomplishment right there. You also talked about, I want to hear more about that. I love what you were saying, because we both love the outdoors, right? And we talked about maybe we can like do a retreat, like we can kind of create a retreat for people. I'll do some meditation, vocalizing, chanting, and you do tattooing, but because you were saying that you took friends out camping, and then you did like a whole tell us about that. I love that. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's definitely something that is out there, and it's on the rise. A lot of, I know it's already existed, and it was very shamanistic, and there's one individual that I think of off top who I've been in contact with through social media not too long ago. I believe his last name, I know his first name, Nate, last name Harmon. Nate Harmon. I don't think it's Hartman. It's Nate Harmon, I believe. I think he's in Indiana, but he's a really, really interesting fella in a most positive way. And on his door, or what he said about himself in some podcasts that he's done with other individuals that are traveling, and they're more collectors, the people that have spoke with him that I've seen on podcasts. It was just an individual who is a tattoo enthusiast. He's tattooed heavily. No, he does tattoo, actually. My bad. The gentleman does tattoo. And he interviewed Nate, and Nate said he's a practitioner of like ancient healing, something to that effect. And, don't fully quote me on that. If Nate happens to see this podcast, I hope you're not mad at me, Nate. In the most positive way. Land that out there, brother.
I'll be like, I need you on my podcast. You can correct.
So that's what it is. As a tattooist, we really are just we're practitioners of a very ancient medicine, ancient healing medicine. There's so many reasons that people were tattooed in the beginning of our civilization as humans that are very healing. They're just another form of meditation and releasing negative energy and protecting yourself, healing yourself. So yeah, it's not too far different from what it is that you do, or anyone else in meditation.
Yeah,
it's healing. It's all healing.
Except
don't get me wrong, and I don't mean to cut you off, but there are copious amounts of humans that get tattooed just for the superficial art of it.
God, yeah.
Tattooists, we're okay with that because it puts money in our pocket to sustain us, but it doesn't, it doesn't have to be everything that I just shared. I know tattooing at root, has been and still is in these very primitive cultures that still exist out there, where they don't know much of American, whether it's Eastern, Western Europe. They don't know what we do and how we do it. They just do it themselves. And yeah, there's plenty to be spoken about on these different elements of human existence, and yeah, that all seems to be like at the same level, yet they're so far apart and they've never met each other before, and they're doing very similar things. It's really weird.
Right, right.
It's like the pyramids of Egypt.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that in this day and age, it's almost more, you're almost more unique not having tattoos, because everybody has tattoos these days, which like you said earlier, in the beginning, 20 years ago, that was looked at as either you were like, so I grew up in East Germany, so it was looked at, you had to be in prison, right? Like if you had a tattoo, obviously you had to be in prison, like why else would you have a tattoo? Like the judgment was pretty bad, like when you had any kind of weird or body modifications. I don't think I was even around back then. I played a lot of fetish events with my band where people had like body modifications. You disappeared now. You're doing something secret. Yeah, like
I had to turn the brightness up on the podcast.
But yeah, it's really interesting, how I think some people just do it just to do it, to be cool maybe, or whatever. I mean, I love tattoos and I want to get a ton more, but I've been taking my time because I'm like, I want to wait for the right time. It has to be the right thing because it's permanent. I don't want to ever go and have them removed. I think that should be meaningful, whatever tattoo you get,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's for sure. That's for sure. What was going to say? So when you were traveling, how do you keep it like safe, and how does that work? If people want to like, well, they can't really get tattooed by you right now because obviously you are in Hawaii and because you're in Maui, right?
Unless you're visiting Hawaii, you can come to Maui specifically.
He's the guy. If you're gonna go to Maui, he's the guy. I remember what I was gonna say. So see, the thing with my art, right? If I fuck something up, I can always correct it. And I would not release anything that's like really horrible. But if you fuck up a tattoo, has that happened? And what did you do? Like,
oh yeah, yeah. That's very true. And there has been. It would be very disingenuous of me to say that I haven't. So, but outside of that fact, I would not want to let there be any lie about it. Every tattooist has messed up something.
Right.
And correcting it too is a different thing. I think what's interesting is when we have a client, and I'm speaking firsthand right here, I probably am not the only one, but I've had a client that has been very squeamish about their design ideas being expressed to me and myself interpreting that idea. And I freehand a lot of my tattoos because I'm a private, tattoo studio artist. So I'm not pressured in punching out, a shitload of tattoos in one day to keep the shop not just afloat, but to put more money in my pocket.
Yeah.
Because that's not what it is for me now. It hasn't been that really ever yet. So I don't really know what that's like. I know there's some amazing tattooists out there that just have one style they're honing out, and I admire them for all that. There's an endless amount of these artists out there.
Yeah,
from USA to Europe, all across, even Japan and very cold countries as well. But I had a client who was just always on the teetering end of any design that we'd come up with together that I do for them. And I'm keeping it very vague for their protection, not even letting them know it's a man or a woman, but
it's fine.
The tattoo is on my Instagram. It is on my Instagram, so that may give it away. Anyhow, there was some little thing I did permanently, and it was solid. It was solid work, but thankfully it was just lines, just the line work. And they came back to me like 2 weeks later. They're like, actually, it was like days later. They're like, it was healing. They're like, man, I am not feeling this piece. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say, but we're going to have to come up. You're going to have to do something. I don't know. She's like, I'm going to have to get it covered up. Like, we have to black it out or something. I was like, what? You want to black it out now? And no, but what ended up happening was I said, nah, don't worry about it. I said, if you want it different, I got you covered. I'm not going to leave you. As a tattooist, we have to have a level of confidence in ourselves and build the confidence up in our client to what we are capable of doing for them.
Right.
And that's what I did. They came back to me and I covered it. I reworked around it and made it not look so much like a cover-up, thankfully, because it was just line work.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they love it the most out of the whole tattoo. They're like, this one part that was my worst nightmare, that they thought I fucked up, became their favorite part of the tattoo. And I'm just like,
I love that.
hey, it happens. It happens. I wouldn't say it was all me that made it that way, but I think it was them because they initially thought it was the worst thing ever to happen to them. And then I changed it around. And a lot of tattooists will say that to really show your skill as an artist in tattooing is the ability to cover up something horrendous and make it look beautiful. And not just that, but to make that cover up not look like a cover up.
Right.
And that is something that I am still growing on. I've looked at a lot of my fellow, associates or colleagues in the industry that we saying industry is a cringeworthy word. I let that out there, but it has sadly become an industry because of the amount of finances that the government people are looking at, seeing our revenue and how we're spending stuff. They know it's a big business. Even though there's a lot of people out there with no tattoos, they know that the tattooists are making a lot of money and they don't have their hands on it. Like, they want our money. And, but that's a whole nother fucking egg to crack, and I'm not alone when I say I'm not into glorifying or talking about that as much, because we all really should be pirates. Everyone should be their own individual being, sustain yourself, do for you, and not live under someone's thumb, telling you what you're allowed to make and what we deserve to take from you and put it into our pockets. Forget that.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
It's out there. That's what taxes are in the United States. And taxation, a lot of people say it's fraud. I mean, taxation's fraud in itself. Like, they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing to us. But, I guess that's kind of getting on a very political, realm that isn't necessary to even talk about.
It's frustrating.
It happens when it's there. So, but yeah, to wind it back, the cover-up tattoo, making a mistake on someone's body and making it actually good in the end when it wasn't good to start with. A lot of tattooists will say that really shows your true ability to see something different in a mess of art, something that was there, even if it was fuzzy, or had dark spots here and light spots over the dark over here. And the client is funny to bring to us images, and you'll see a bunch of memes. There's guys on Instagram, I love some of their memes. If I was to plug anyone right now and be okay doing it, I have a couple, but
yeah, do it. Good. Yeah.
On Instagram, look up Monday Malarkey. I believe that is Monday Malarkey. I think there might be an underscore in there, but if you just type in Monday and then Malarkey, I think Instagram has an algorithm where they'll correct it and put it there. But check the young man out. He's a funny dude, and I don't know. The guy's just got a genius about him, and he comes up with some funny memes, and a lot of other fellow amazing tattooists follow this guy. But yeah, there's a lot of funniness about what clients bring in that they want tattooed in an area of their body that's to cover something up, and it's just so impossible. It's like they obviously don't know anything about what a tattoo is on the skin and what they're wanting. It's just like they're blind.
Oh my God.
So it's funny because in a street shop, you will get a lot of people, especially in little towns where there's like a low brainwave, resonance going on, where they just like want a tattoo. They have no idea what goes into creating something on the skin permanently and how the skin receives ink and heals up. It's really funny, but Monday Malarkey has a lot of funny memes that if you're even someone that doesn't know much about tattooing, you look at the posts on Monday Malarkey, you'll start to catch on to how funny it is on our side of what the other people are thinking and like how they act to stuff. It's really funny. But yeah, we get crazy stuff all the time. And to get across, everyone has a level of stubbornness. We all, in every aspect of our life, we have this like threshold where we stop or start something different in communication.
Yeah.
And as a tattooist, being able to communicate to this individual the fantastical thoughts that are going on in their head, how we have to crush them in the kindest way ever. So let them know the possibility realms of getting are two different things. It's really it's an art form in itself. It's definitely an art form in itself, So yeah, that's yeah.
Have you ever reject something? Okay, I'll tell you, like when I got my tattoo. So when I got this tattoo, actually,
Yeah.
the guy who owns the shop.
What does that mean?
It means fried chicken. I'm kidding. It's prosperity.
Yeah, it might.
It's old Chinese. It's yeah. But when the guy who owned the shop, oh God, Hulk, what was his name? I can't even remember right now. He's a super cool guy. He's not in LA anymore. But I told him I really wanted fuck it right here. I wanted like fuck it, right? He wouldn't do it. He's like, you're not gonna get that. And I was like, dude, I am not 18 years old. Like I'm a grown person. Like I mean it. I want it, He's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. So I was like,
that came well, it sounds like anyway. I don't know the person who said that to you, but I'm not alone when I say this. That rhetoric, that speech from a tattooist is definitely rooted in a very old school way. Traditional tattooist. I'll side plug it into this, and we know that Norman Keith Collins, known as Sailor Jerry, who was out here in Oahu, rest his soul, buried out there at the Punch Bowl. Anyhow, he had written and said, the Japanese have it right. You don't just walk into a tattoo shop and tell them what you want to get and get that tattoo. The tattooist observes you and makes a decision whether or not you are worthy to carry their art on your body. And they can say yes or no to you. They'll say fuck off, or okay, let's sit and let's make this happen.
Yeah.
But he said they have it right, and he's like, that's the way I'm gonna go from this point out. He's like, if I don't like your idea, if I don't want to do it, and honestly, I could say this in a very relative, level playing field of what you do as an artist with music. It'd be as if a producer was coming at you saying, I want you to make this music for me. And you said, fuck no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
That's not what I like to do. I like to do something different. So fuck off. But if they came out with something that you actually enjoyed, that's a part of, you know, coming into being accepted. But the other part is you have to look at that producer and see what their history is, what kind of you know, lineage that they've got already built up about themselves. And you have to say, do you want to be a part of their, you know, people, like that they, you know, come to for stuff? It's like that in tattooing, and a little bit more, I think, stringent, you know, a little more tight, where, you know, especially now, I think a lot of tattooists are finding comfort in that very thing. But also with this time, you're getting the complete opposite, where some tattooists are bending over and saying, okay, yeah, I'll do that tattoo. Fuck it. You want what I know is to be a swastika? To me, it's something different. If you want it for that, I'm going to get the money in my pocket. I'll do it. You know, that's it. And go on, you know. But no, a lot of people, a lot of tattooists, I think, are coming into that comfort zone of saying fuck you to someone's idea, or okay, yeah, I'll do that. And it's just feeling people out, you know, feeling people out for their energy and your connection to them on a human level, and then also on an artistic level, you know, in the head, where your head's at for art. So, but yeah, it's definitely that. No, I've turned people down, to answer the question. I've said no to stuff. And you know, there's been a couple different approaches that came at me. One was some really young kids that wanted their boyfriend, girlfriend names on them. And they'd only been together for like 3 months. I was like,
no. Good job.
I said, you know what? You're gonna get it done from somebody. It's just not gonna be me, and I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable in myself, and honestly, I hadn't been making a lot of good money that month, and it was it was as if I was a junkie who just quit doing dope, and all of a sudden someone came to me with a bunch of fucking dope and was like, hey, you want some? But I knew in my head that I wanted to go on the high road and stop doing that shit. That was a testament of my self-preservation for me to say no to that tattoo in that time when I needed money, and I could have had the money, but I didn't do it. I think that's a really big thing for a tattooist to be able to say. So, you know,
I think anyone, it's like it's your, you know, it comes
feeling. Yeah, you know, the things come from that in itself that heighten your resonance of self-preservation. What you have inside of you to continue on without accepting everything that everyone wants to put in front of you.
Right.
You know?
Well, because I think at some point or another, we've all done things out of desperation, right? Where we just like, fuck, I need the money, I got to do it or whatever. And at the end, I don't know, it never felt quite good, or you felt like, you know, it feels good to just like say, you know what, I'm going to put out to the universe that I'm going to honor my craft. I'm going to honor my, what's the word? My, I guess, boundaries, you know?
Okay.
You know, and stick with that, because then I think that's when you tell the universe, okay, this is who I am, and I up my game, right, and my values, and this is where I am now, and then things just gonna happen to you because you open that up. You're not coming from a place of desperation, from just like the lower level kind of energy, right? That's like just based off fear and, you know, doubt and whatnot. Yeah. But it's funny that you say that, because I think it's not just for tattoo artists. It's like there was a guy who's a really famous, he mixes a lot of music for artists. And we wanted him to mix one of our songs. And I didn't like it at all. Like, I didn't like what he did, but he was like, this is what I do. And if you don't like it, I'm not your guy. And I was like, whoa, you know, but at the same time, people come to him for who he is as an artist. There's people that they do whatever, you know, they do whatever you want, I can do it. And then there's people that say, you know, and that's why I respected the guy too. He's like, I'm not going to give you that tattoo. I'm not, you know. And I was like, well, I respect that. I was laughing because I thought it was funny. But I respect it because it is your art on somebody else's body. And if you don't, if that doesn't resonate with you, then you should not do it, you know. And that's, I think, for people out there, like, honor yourself, honor that. It's almost like, would you stay in an abusive relationship, you know, because you think no one better is going to come along, you know, and put up with shit that are really not on your vibration, right? Because then you lower your vibration and your energy, and you're staying in that frequency, and you cannot attract anything better when you're in that frequency, you know.
I figured up to you when you're saying that, because I feel this is a really neat direction to going in this little beautiful podcast. Is what just came to me. This really did just come to me. I'm sure it's not new. I don't think that I'm creating a new cog in the wheel, but when it comes to one's vibration in a relationship and level, and meeting or making someone on your vibrational level, what hit me was, I see a lot of people, and being that I've had clientele that were very young, you know, to me, and there's a blinding element to understanding and perceiving your level of vibration. And I think it's something to be heard and received, understood by people of all ages, is if you feel that you're on a particular vibrating level that's actually high, and yet everyone that you meet that you're engaging with is somehow creating a shiv or a chasm, a gap where there's a separation and not the same mental level, it may not be so much them that you look at and point a finger to, but look at yourself and see, where is my vibration really at? Am I even consciously aware of my vibration of, you know, level vibrating? Is it really high, or am I low?
Yeah.
You know, we may think it's high when really we're like down here, and we haven't broken through that crust of our self, you know, afflicted pain, the garbage inside of us. And so subconsciously we're drawn to people that are really on the same level that we're on, but we think that we're above that. And so we'll lash out at those other people, say, you're not where I am, I'm above you, you know. And it's like this and that finger there. It's like, well, wait a minute, you know, there's this theory out there that we are mirroring ourselves with other people. It's like what's drawn to us is what's inside of us. And if that's even remotely true, then how much of our conscious self, the awoken self, is really taking heed to that statement that may have validity to it? You know, lift up yourself, you know, we must lift up. And so, yeah, this is a great time that we're in to reflect on ourselves, you know, even though it's not a 7 vibrating year, but it's a really good time to focus on the inner self and find out where we're, you know, needing to be more elevated, and everything that we do with other people, you know, how we engage and what we allow, first and foremost here, you know, respecting here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we talked about this, like, you're really into numbers as well, and this is like we have entered the Aquarian age, which is about community and collective consciousness. You know, being more connected. I think this is so important right now, and I've been saying this, but it's so true. There's a danger with this, all these fucking lockdowns, and like people have become very we're all isolated, right? We're not allowed to hug, we're not allowed to hang out. There's all these fucking rules are being made by these people that break them. And I think this is very dangerous because we are getting conditioned. We are funny beings. We don't like change, but we so easily adapt, right? It is a really funny thing. So people eat, I mean, I keep saying this too, like, I don't walk around with a mask in the park. I'm respectful when I go to shopping or whatever, like I'll follow those rules. But when I'm out in the park by myself with my dog, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to wear a fucking face diaper, I'm far away from people. But when people see me, they seriously almost like run the other way. It's like, so I feel that people have become so scared, and so disconnected from one another that they just like assume that, I don't know, we've become like conditioned now that it's okay not to be together. It's okay not to have that connection, to not open up so much, to just like sit on front of Zoom, and which is great. I appreciate this. We would have never met, right? If it wasn't for like,
we got to see each other physically yet,
but yeah, we haven't met physically, but we have met, online, which is great. Yeah. And I'm so grateful for that. There's been so many amazing things that have come out of this. But speaking of connection, that is very important that we don't lose that human connection, even if it's right now, obviously you're in Hawaii, I'm in LA, but having a real conversation versus just, I feel like people are just checking out a lot. They just like text you, and I do it too. I'm very guilty of that too. Right. And but I've been noticing that. I was like, wow, I do that too. Like, I don't want to be that person. Like, where someone will, hey, what's up? Let's make a song or whatever. And then you don't hear from them. You reply, but then they don't get back to you. And I think it's just because they either really checked out or so in their own little world. And I hope the world is not, on the downside, the downward spiral where they're depressed and just like, drinking, doing drugs, whatever. It's because that's the real pandemic in my eyes, the depression, the suicides that nobody talks about. But yeah, so the number 5 is the year of the Aquarian age, which we talked about is ruled by by Mars. You're in an area, so you can feel that fiery energy, right? So I think this is definitely a time to step up our game and to come back to what you were saying about the energy. I think we always know, if you're honest with yourself, what frequency you're on, because if it doesn't feel good, you're obviously not in the right frequency. You know what I mean? If it feels forced, if I feel desperate, like, and I get frustrated a lot, obviously, like, I'm like, fuck, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And that's when I go, all right, slow down. We don't want to fall back into the same trap, I want to ask you, a friend of mine, I love this challenge, because I can never make up my mind myself. But my friend sent me a very interesting email about, she's like, so each year, apparently she chooses a word that becomes the theme of the year. And I was like, oh, that is so interesting. One year she was like so she was just creating things, right? This year her word is connection. And I haven't quite.
Is it her word though?
It's her word, connection, like connecting. This year's all about her connecting with people that she has not been in touch with, which is like, it's beautiful. But anyway, so that's something you may want to think about. That's kind of cool.
How does she do this thing? I want to probe her mind now. Like, how does she pick these words? As she like write them down in a hat and like mix them up?
You could just write down all these words, right? That are like love, joy, creating, connection, maybe wealth, maybe passion. Just this year, all I do has to be passionate. I have to be passionate about. I just really love that, so I want to share that with the world because I think this is really cool. Yeah. And I think I think my theme will be finish. I need to finish a lot of unfinished projects. And at the same time, I want to say victory because I want to just conquer my procrastination. I want to conquer all my insecurities and fears, and maybe that will lead to finishing things. I don't know.
Well, those 2 words, if you think about it, are like synonym of each other. To finish something is to conquer something in a form of it. But now, if it was a battle, if you feel like it's an ultimate battle, then the word that would be in conjunction with that would be to conquer, you know.
Yeah.
To conquer
Oh,
battle, you know.
maybe the word is conquer. I don't know.
You would conquer, you know, conquer the projects that you have, you know.
I know. What word would you pick?
Euphemistic terms, I know they're everywhere.
I know.
All, but yeah.
Which word would you pick if you had to pick a word for 2021 for yourself?
For myself,
Your goal.
I don't know right off the bat, but being a novice numerologist, I would say that my word is still partly like 50% travel. So, and you know, that doesn't have to be global travel, even though I'd like it to be global travel, just to travel to new places and see new things that I haven't seen yet in this body. And yeah, that'd be it, travel. Everything else for me is sort of encapsulating every emotion, every action word is present in my life on a daily basis. There's not, I think, one emotion that is left out in any day I live on this earth right now. There's always a moment, that could be an hour, that I feel one way, you know, and then I feel a different way, and then I feel another way. I don't know if that's something anyone else can relate to, but I feel a bit of everything every day I'm alive. You know, I feel happy. I feel a bit sad. I feel motivated and I feel unmotivated. It's like it's all there, you know.
There's like I do Kundalini yoga, and I remember her Rama TV Guru Jagat. She was saying something about that. There's a certain it has to do with our nervous system where we have to strengthen it to not be so, you know, 1 minute you like something and then the next minute you're like, nah, whatever. You know, it's a little bit of I guess it could lead to depression at some point, you know, when it's like just kind of very not consistent. But at the same time, we are human. And so obviously we can't always be high and always like, everything is great. Yeah. You know, I think it's normal to go through phases for sure. How do you keep yourself sane and also in shape mentally, physically during this time? Because I don't know how exactly everything is in Hawaii, you know, the situation, but what do you personally do that is like kind of your routine, ritual, daily mantra?
Well, some of it will not shock many people, and that is the ocean. The ocean is amazing. The salt water is amazing. Just getting out of the house, get out of your little freaking box. Get out of it. I get out every day. Today, I confess I didn't really get out. I did go out to, you know, dump some trash, but didn't get out. Now for me, I'm going to get out, but it'll probably be, you know, after this evening podcast is over, I'll take a little late night cruise, but I aim to get in the water and swim, watch the sunset. Deep breathing, like real deep breathing. I'm sure I don't do it all correctly. If there is someone out there that knows a particular way of breathing, but I know that breathing deep for myself and holding my breath for a certain amount of time and then releasing it out.
Yeah.
And I know it does something. And I tell you, I'm running purely off of intuition. I haven't looked up anything on breathing techniques whatsoever. I have friends that have done that. They've looked up things and done it. But for me, when I decided I knew I needed to breathe deeper and focus on my breathing, I just started doing it. I didn't go, I think it's time for me to study how to breathe deep, and I'm going to look it up, and then I'm going to get at this. I didn't do that. I just went out and I let it out. And of course, I would hold my breath a lot longer. It's not something that you're going to want to watch or entertain to watch someone do it. But, hold your breath as long as you can in a relaxed state and let go of what it is you're doing and be consciously aware of your heart and what your lungs are doing in that time frame that they're holding in oxygen.
Right.
And then expelling out the carbon dioxide, the poison that the human body is not meant to contain.
Yes, or breathe in again.
Hold in for any longer than you're exhaling it out. That's how it's supposed to be, going out, not coming back in or hanging out around here, and then you're breathing half of it back in when you exhale from the face diaper. It's not science.
I know.
Don't
need to get started on that.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. We'll save that for another time.
We'll save that for another time. Well, it's really interesting that you say that. It's Wim Hof. You will really like him. He does that. And actually what it does is you get high on your own supply because it makes you high and it cleans out, it alkalines your body, which is amazing. And it also helps with depression. So that's how. Yeah. And you and Kundalini, we do that a lot too. You breathe and then you kind of like tighten your body and you hold it, and it feels so fucking good. And I love the chanting. It's just like, I love when you get high on that because there's no hangover. When you have alcohol, like a lot of times I've had it more than I'd like to admit, where you're like, oh God, I'm never ever gonna do this again,
Right.
And so this is like the greatest high that gives you energy, gives you like vitality, and has no side effects. It's no hangover.
Yeah, no negative anyway.
Exactly. You're already getting tired. You're like, oh my God.
I yawned, but now I'm drinking water in my cup.
Oh my God, you're out of coffee already.
And if I make more, I don't have any ingredients to go with it. It would just be black Kona coffee, which is unless I roast the beans myself, it's pretty bitter. It's bitter coffee. I don't think you can really escape that if you buy coffee that's already ground. If you grind up coffee that's ground, it's gonna be bitter as fuck. I just diversified the word fuck one more time. Bitter as fuck.
Yes, fuck is just such a great word. Like I could say that like all day long. Fuck. Fuckity fuck.
Fuck. Oh.
What do you usually put in your coffee? I love almond milk or rice milk. Or coconut.
I personally do macadamia liqueur. I do whiskey and Irish cream.
The
Irish way.
That's a way to enhance it. There you go.
Yeah, but that's all I do, and then it's done and over with, and I go about my day. I drink my orange juice, watered down orange juice, and drink water, and and take in the ocean.
Doing all the good stuff. I want people to see your tattoo that you actually did on your own hand. And tell me, because this is a really odd spot, right? To do a tattoo. Like, how is this like prone to like go like last for long, or because you use your hands so much?
Yeah, well, that's permanent. That's not going to go anywhere now. I mean,
right, but does it last like good?
What's that?
Is it going to last? I'm just thinking, like, I'm wondering, like a tattoo here, you don't always use that part, but like you always wash your hands and stuff like that. Is this going to affect it or?
No, see, tattoo in the palm is a subdermal thing. You have to get that ink way deep inside of that hand.
Ouch.
The skin is so tough, and
right.
If it was just on the very surface, it'll peel right off. And that's what happens. A lot of tattoos that are done on the hand, that are done by tattooists that don't know the epidermis and the dermis, the density of those parts, it'll just come right out. It won't stay. But you have to go deep, and it definitely isn't a fun or friendly experience. I of course thought it was wild, but I'm just a wild and crazy guy.
What did you say? Like, you didn't feel anything until you were done, and then it felt like you like put your hand on the oven.
Well, yeah, no. Well, while tattooing the palm, it didn't hurt until I stopped. It just felt normal when I was tattooing it, but when I stopped, it felt like I had just been thrown out of a vehicle going 100 miles an hour on pure asphalt.
Oh, shit.
Palms down and just running across the freaking concrete.
Oh,
So it's like a road burn, like a road rash.
Oh,
so
man.
So it felt like fire.
Oh, shit. But is that also part of the ritual? Is that also part of the ritual, the pain? Because sometimes I see people, I've seen a girl, she had her entire arm like blacked out.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, that must have taken so much time. Like,
it takes a while. Oh, yeah.
And pain. Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, it takes a while. But, yeah, that's definitely part of it. There's a number of tattooists that will laugh at the advertisements for topical numbing agents for tattooing, and I didn't feel a darn thing when I got this tattoo. So that's all part of it. Like some people don't want to feel the pain and get tattooed, and it's like,
right,
you shouldn't do it then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a wuss, but I just start laughing. I'm like, and they're just like, okay, be still. And I want to get a lot done, so like it's gonna not be easy, but I think you're right. Like, I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like, that's just
part of the pain. The pain is part of the experience, and
yes, that's pain. Well, where can people find you? And when things open up again, because you are traveling, and you said you may even like do like the getting people together and going camping and doing like a ritual kind of kind of thing.
Adventure theme. Yeah. I can be found on Instagram at Godspeedtattoos. It's all one word. There's no underscore. Just Godspeedtattoos. And you can also find me on Facebook. My business page is Godspeed 3337. So if you type in the search bar on Facebook, just do Godspeed 3337, and they'll take you to my tattoo page. You can do a like and follow. Send me a message. Let me know that you found me your lovely podcast. This lovely little message that we shared here to the masses, and when the time does come that they make it out here, I'll give them a little wonderful discount, little aloha discount, to come out. So those are the two spots that can be found. Instagram, Godspeedtattoos, that's plural, not singular, and on Facebook it's Godspeed 3337. Those are the two spots.
Awesome. Yeah.
So far.
I want to finish it with that discount thing, because it was something interesting I saw. Because I always like when people ask me for voice lessons, I'm always like, oh yeah, I'll give you a discount, but then I'm thinking, well, my landlord doesn't give me a discount. The food store doesn't give me a discount. I mean, they do have discounts, but so I feel like, so I saw a saying that said, when you know your worth, you stop giving discounts. And I loved that. I was like, you know what? And I ask people sometimes too, I was like, oh, maybe they have a discount or whatever. I mean, we all want the deal, right? But I found that, I don't know, it stuck with me. I'm like, interesting concept. Very interesting concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, here I look at it two things. I'm not going to go negative on that, but I will say this too. I'll never stop marketing myself, and a part of marketing is giving to the community something to gain something. And I'm one of those that would rather pay the people that promote me or that join and follow and be a part of that than to pay some second or third party Joe Schmo that doesn't know me for, squat and have it go that way. I'd rather give to the actual people that want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that I'm taken away from myself. But something else I heard someone say when I was at a little freaking taco stand in Sebastopol, California, was this gentleman on the phone with somebody, and he was being pretty loud, like he wanted other people to hear him talking to someone else. And a lot of times that will annoy me, especially in a grocery store. And I've heard comedians talk about it, how, one type of human being that they think should also be taken off the side of the road, shot and killed. Those motherfuckers that will talk on speakerphone in the grocery store to somebody. Like, I don't give two fucks who you're talking to on the phone. That's you and that person's communication, not everybody else's. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. It's like a religion. But this guy was on the phone with somebody, and he says, what you need to understand is, and like, this is helping me tell a story by holding my hand like a cell phone, like an old flip phone. I got a flip phone. Wait. Yo, Timmy, let me tell you how it is. You're never going to get what you're worth. You're only going to get what you negotiate. What you negotiate's what you're going to get, not what you're worth. So tell people what you're worth, not what you negotiate. Or it might be flip-flop. It actually is, you're going to get what you negotiate with somebody and not what you're worth. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Well, yeah, you know what? I see where you're coming from. And I also think that, like, now that we're talking about it, I also think that, we do what we love. And sometimes when you do give somebody a deal, which I do also with my clothing line, I feel that there's part of, like, as long as I don't go in a negative or lose money, right? I feel that certain people, it's like the gift of giving and being generous, while at the same time still making some profit, but like being generous. So I think it's a give and take. And then somebody else, I've had people that would just pay me more, they'd be like, take this. I want you to have that. And I feel like the universe always works in very miraculous ways where, when you have that abundant mindset, it seems that things just come back to you.
They do.
Threefold, tenfold, it's just the way the universe works. And yeah, and not even to think about it. You shouldn't be doing that because you think, if I give, then I'm going to get more. But just like coming from a very, and I feel like that's the kind of guy you are too. Like, you're just like a very generous, caring person who's just very much, in tune with yourself, but also really doing what you love. And when you do what you love, you have that abundant mindset because there's always going to be more,
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's true. Very true. You could have been said better. I said perfect in the moment. That was wonderfully worded. But so that's it. I do like what you said in the whole realm of, getting what you're worth. If you're given discounts kind of thing, you're not getting what you're worth, or you're just putting yourself down in a sense. In a sense, you're cutting yourself short. And I hear it a lot. A lot of my close clientele, they say to me, you should be charging more for your tattoo work because of how I do it and the experience that I give to people. But if I was trying, if I knew I needed to, I would do it. And I'm sure it's going to happen where I'll have to charge more, but the time hasn't hit me yet.
Yeah.
You know, even in this time, I guess I'm very thankful, very grateful to be in my position. But you know, it's a monetary price. You know, it's one-time fee in a moment of a lifetime of
Exactly.
permanent joy.
Yeah.
And when we, I don't want to cut it, I'll make it short, but you don't want to talk about people on low vibrating human levels. They just speak and they don't even know what they're saying. When they ask for a deal like, hey, can I get a discount, you know, on this tat? Or they say, I got a tat, it should take you like 15 minutes, you know, it should be like a 5-minute tat, you know, well, can you give it to me for like $30, you know, $30?
Oh
It's
my
a really quick tat. When they tell you how quick a tattoo should be and how much, you know, you should be getting paid for it, it's like, what? Like, what? It's the biggest joke of all time. And it's like those people are in such a low human vibration mentally that you really, as a tattooist who wants to keep this level of particular integrity of being socially viewed, you have to kind of bite your tongue and you zip the lip a bit, because you can say a lot of freaking harsh shit to somebody who's on that low of a level. And in an instant, I'm like, you know what? This person is not worth my time at all. Because you already know that they started at that point. When they started that low of a point to try and talk you down and out of what you know your skill is, and even how to do your own job, how to do what you do for a living, that's like, you know what? Say goodbye or hi to the hand and I'm out. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You know, they don't understand a bit about it, and they have no couth. They have no couth on how to let those words come out. So, yeah, it's really funny when that happens. Like, I just don't even. They find me offensive that I said, do you realize what you just asked me was like going to an auto shop to get your tires fixed and telling the guy who does a tire repair, hey, you know, this should take you like 15 minutes. I'll give you $20 to change my tire for me. Is that okay? Is that cool with you? Thank you. Cool. Let's do that. It's like, who the fuck does that?
Right.
Who does
Yeah.
that? No one does it. It's like going to a grocery store and saying, yeah, I picked out all these groceries myself, and, you know, I'm thinking they're worth about $20. Let me just give you $20 and I can have all this and go, right? Right? Yeah. That ain't going to happen. So
I like that when I have to check myself out. I'm like, I should be getting paid right now because I'm doing all the work. You know, I have to scan my own items here. I'm checking myself out. I mean, I should get a discount for that. You know, no, but it's true. I think I so agree. I've had when I was teaching voice lessons, and I would have the minute I get this call, like, yeah, so can you do this for like, and I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah,
And it's not even about it. What you said, it's like just the way they're starting it off. You already know, you know, you're already grinding me. You don't even know my worth. You don't know my work. You just, no, you're not worth. And then you're going to be a pain in the ass. You're not even going to do your work anyway. You don't do your work. And then you come back and you tell me that I'm not giving you any results. And I have, it felt good at some point. I was like, certain students, I needed them for at the time, and then I just let them go. I was like, you know what? I don't have time for that. And it felt good. It felt liberating to not rely on that, you know? Anyway, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for the conversation, and enjoy Hawaii, enjoy the beach. And what do we say? Aloha? Would you say that?
Yeah, aloha, goodbye.
Aloha, goodbye.
I don't know some of the jingle jangles that are said, but you know, I'll learn some of those jingle jangles.
Until next time. I'll talk to you very soon. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Bye.